Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a beautiful, heartfelt topic, one that proves love is timeless. You've probably heard people say that love is for the young, but today I want to share a different message with you. Love has no age. It never expires, and it never gives up, even if we're 60, 70, or beyond. In this special episode, I'll take you on a journey through true stories, some emotional, some unexpected, and some that will truly melt your heart. You'll meet people from different parts of the world, from Texas to Thailand, Canada to the Philippines, and beyond. They're seniors, retirees, or just single folks who decided to give love one more chance, online. So sit back, grab your coffee or tea, and let's begin with the first story, one that starts in a small town in Texas. Story 1. Robert, 68, Texas, USA, and Manee, 47, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Robert had been a truck driver for most of his life. After retiring, he settled in a quiet town in Texas. His wife had passed away a few years earlier, and since then, he lived alone. He had grown used to silence, the kind that fills every corner of a house when nobody else is around. His daughter, worried about his loneliness, helped him set up a senior-friendly online dating app. At first, he ignored it, but one morning, while sipping his usual black coffee, a message popped up. It was from a woman named Manee, a 47-year-old Thai woman living in Chiang Mai. Manee had been a tour guide. She was also divorced and had a grown-up son. She loved cooking, gardening, and caring for her elderly parents. They started talking, at first just small talk. But over the weeks, their conversations became deeper. Robert said, "I don't know how it happened, but talking to her made me smile. It was the first time in years I laughed like that." 6 months later, he booked a flight to Thailand. Manee picked him up at the airport, holding a bouquet of white flowers. They spent a few weeks exploring Chiang Mai together, temples, mountains, night markets. Robert even tried spicy Thai food and surprisingly loved it. After 9 months of online friendship and 2 in-person visits, they got married in Thailand. Today, they live in a small countryside home surrounded by greenery. Robert takes care of the garden. Manee makes Thai food and teaches him how to cook. They're building a peaceful, happy life together. "She brought my life back," Robert says. "At 68, I thought my story was over, but she gave me a new chapter." Love letter story 2. David, 61, Vancouver, Canada, and Alma, 42, Cebu, Philippines. David was a retired engineer living in Vancouver, Canada. He'd been divorced for over a decade and had lived alone ever since. One evening, he came across a blog about why men are finding love in Southeast Asia. It made him curious. He joined a dating site specifically for serious relationships and soon came across Alma, a 42-year-old preschool teacher from Cebu. Alma was simple, kind, and honest. She loved children, music, and helping her aging mother. What caught David's attention was her smile, gentle, sincere. They talked every evening, with David adjusting his time zone just to say goodnight to her in real time. Over 4 months, they bonded deeply. David flew to Cebu to meet her. At the airport, Alma waited nervously with her brother. But once they met, the nervousness melted away. She laughed so freely. "I hadn't felt this light in years," David shared. He spent 2 weeks in Cebu, visiting Alma's school, helping with the kids, learning to cook Filipino adobo. He even tried karaoke. After 8 months of long-distance love, David applied for a spousal visa. Today, they live in a suburb of Vancouver and run a small English tutoring class for immigrant children. "I didn't just find a wife," David says. "I found a best friend and a new reason to live." Love letter story 3. Margaret, 66, Florida, USA, and Vin, 54, Dalat, Vietnam. Margaret had never married. She had spent most of her life caring for her parents and working as a librarian in Florida. After retirement, she felt something missing: companionship. One day, she stumbled on a blog that featured stories about expats living in Vietnam. One name stood out: Vin, a widower who ran a small homestay in Dalat. They started exchanging emails, then video calls, then daily voice messages. Margaret decided to take a leap and flew to Vietnam. Vin picked her up on his motorbike, and together they rode through pine forests, coffee farms, and flower valleys. "I felt 25 again," she laughed. "We didn't even speak the same language fluently, but somehow our hearts understood." They now run a guest house together, where Vin cooks Vietnamese breakfasts and Margaret bakes banana bread for international travelers. "He was my unexpected blessing. I found him halfway across the world, but exactly on time." Love Letter Story 4. Jean-Paul, 70, Lyon, France, and Srey, 49, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Jean-Paul was a retired philosophy professor from Lyon. After his wife passed, he spent years living alone with his cat. Through a travel forum, he met Srey, a Cambodian woman who ran a small NGO for orphan children. Jean-Paul volunteered to visit Phnom Penh to help teach French and English. There, he met Srey in person, warm, kind-hearted, passionate about her work. Their friendship grew. They didn't fall in love instantly, but over time, Srey became the calm to his storm. Today, they live in a modest home in Phnom Penh and co-run the NGO. "It wasn't fireworks," Jean-Paul says. "It was a slow-burning candle that never went out." Love Letter Story 5. Linda, 63, Arizona, USA, and Carlos, 65, Mexico City, Mexico. Linda had been widowed for 8 years. Her children had moved out. Her home felt too big and too quiet. Through a Facebook friendship group, she met Carlos, a Mexican musician who lived in Mexico City and performed at retirement communities. They shared music, laughter, and stories about their youth. Eventually, Linda visited Mexico, and Carlos surprised her with a song he wrote just for her. They're now planning to move to a coastal town in Mexico and open a small cafe with live music for seniors. "We're not growing old," Linda laughs. "We're growing younger together." Story 6. Online Pets. Real Love. Jim and Lucia. Jim was 64, a retired postman in Ohio. He loved cats. Lucia was 58, a retired schoolteacher in Peru who rescued stray cats. They met in an online pet lover forum and connected instantly. They bonded over their love of animals, traded pet stories, and eventually visited each other. Now they live together in Lima, Peru, running a small animal rescue center. "We met because of cats," Jim laughs. "But I stayed because of her heart." So what do all these stories have in common? They prove that love doesn't check your birth certificate. It doesn't care if you've been hurt before. It doesn't care about borders, language, or gray hair. What love really wants is courage. The courage to try, to believe again, to risk your heart even after all these years. So if you're watching this and thinking, maybe it's too late for me, let these stories remind you, it's never too late. Whether you're 50 or 80, whether you live in Chicago or Cambodia, your heart still deserves connection. And sometimes, the internet is just the beginning. Even if you're not looking for romance, and all you want is simple companionship, that's perfectly okay. Many senior people just want someone to talk to, someone to share stories with, exchange emails, or maybe just say good morning to each other online. It's called friendship, and it's one of the most powerful things we can give and receive, especially in our golden years. Loneliness is real, but connection is powerful. If you're over 60, 70, or even 80, you still have every right to log on, Sign up and find people who share your values and experiences. You can start by creating a simple profile on a friend finder website or a senior-friendly app. You don't need to be tech-savvy. You just need to be open-hearted. You can write about your hobbies, your past travels, or your favorite music. You can find someone who loves gardening or someone who enjoys watching old movies just like you. Even a few messages a week can brighten your day. And who knows? One day, a simple hello might turn into a lifelong friend. So don't be shy. Don't tell yourself, I'm too old for this. You're not. Because friendship doesn't ask how old you are, it just asks if your heart is open. You deserve joy. You deserve connection. Start with a simple hello and let the rest unfold naturally. If you enjoyed these stories, please give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Share your own story below or the story of someone you know. Because love has no age.